Happy Friday, friends, and welcome to Acoustic Guitar Showcase number 84. We sure appreciate you joining us on this lovely Friday afternoon. Finally starting to warm up a little bit outside, which is nice. Able to get the guitar out in the backyard and do a little backyard strumming, which is always a good thing. And folks, as always, do not be shy with your keyboards or whatever entry that you're plugging in your words and letters with there. We absolutely would love to hear from you, hear what you're doing over this weekend, what guitars you're planning on playing. If you got any good gigs coming up, we would love to hear about that. And as always, folks, do not neglect to say hello to my good friend Alejandro behind the controls today, running the show for us.
What's up, guitar freaks? It's going to be a good one today.
Is it ever? We've got some fun ones today for sure. Some extra filthy guitars. And first one, actually, we were lucky enough to bring home from the 2025 Catch event from Taylor Guitars, which is associated with the 2025 NAMM show, of course. And the Taylor Catch event is the event where they bring all of their really highly customized guitars. These are Taylor born guitars in that they were designed by the employees at Taylor Guitars, concepted by the employees at Taylor Guitars. And this C24 that we're starting with today is a pretty incredible example of their grand auditorium model with a lot of bells and whistles applied to it. You can see that we have started with, or I should say Taylor has started with, a really incredible, highly figured walnut top on this guitar. And I love hardwood tops, whether it's mahogany, koa, walnut. They always tend to work out really nicely and give you a very different sound and responsiveness compared to your typical spruce, your redwoods, your cedars, so on. Really fun to have the sort of delivery and responsiveness of a hardwood top from time to time for sure. And this is most certainly a beautiful one. You can see that bit of a shaded edge burst that they've done to sort of get that figure even deeper looking for sure. Really a nice job on really utilizing that wood fully. I love the binding package on this guitar. It's done in a really curly koa all the way around the body of this guitar, including that generous forearm bevel down here as well. Just that color of that kind of radiating gold out of that nice walnut is really nice. Of course, we've got some very intricate and really, really deep, beautiful abalone shell going around the perimeter of the entire top there. Also around the sound hole there on a nice thick ring, single ring of abalone going around the sound hole on the rosette. And I love how they also match just a little bit of that koa binding right on the inside of that sound hole to match all of the body binding there as well. I also love those little inlays that they put on the bridge itself. Just a nice little luxurious touch down there. Back and sides of this guitar are an equally beautiful set of walnut for the back and sides, and you'll see breaking up the outer sides of walnut there is a two-piece Simon's wedge of curly koa. And of course, they've done a beautiful job of coordinating just the actual colors themselves of the koa wedge down the back, along with all the binding and the heel cap and everything. You can even look at the tail wedge down here, which you can see the electronics access there for your battery and plug-in for the ES2 electronics down there. But I love the finish work that they've done. Just that really subtle burst on that walnut body there is really gorgeous. All the way up top, you'll see a West African Crelicam ebony headstock veneer with some beautiful inlay work done in Powa shell. That's a beautiful Taylor logo all the way up top there. We've got that Cindy logo right in the center of the headstock. We also have gold Taylor tuning machines on there, and I love the detail on the back of the headstock, that matching koa back strap on the back of the headstock. They've even applied a very similar burst to that mahogany neck like they've done on the walnut body of this guitar. So really just a beautifully coordinated guitar. Handra, I'm going to ask you to stay there. I'm sorry. on the fingerboard of this guitar before we get too much further. We have the full package of the Cindy inlays. Sometimes you'll see just this very bottom portion of the Cindy inlay done on special edition custom Taylor guitars. But this version has the full length all the way up that ebony fingerboard there, again, perfectly tying in with that ebony bridge inlay as well, which is just really cool. We've got the standard 25.5-inch scale length on this guitar, as well as the standard 1 3/4-inch nut width. We have the V-class bracing under the hood of this guitar, and I'll tell you, just the all hardwood body, this all walnut body, works really well in the context of kind of how Taylor builds their guitars, voices their guitars. Ergonomically, nothing to complain about at all. The Grand Auditorium is a, to me at least, comfortable body style, but that forearm bevel on there definitely gives you a little bit more comfort, I'd say, especially if you're playing the guitar for hours on end doing, gigs or anything like that, recording session type stuff. So I've noticed that the clarity of this guitar makes it a very finger style appropriate guitar, because it just really, even with just bare flesh, no hard nails or anything, really has a lot of nice clarity, but without being shrill or too bright or harsh or anything like that. Really good sustain as well. Sometimes the hardwood tops, sometimes they don't have the world's longest sustain. I gotta say, this walnut top, of course the rest of the guitar around it, is ringing out awfully nicely. A lot of good note separation in that guitar. And I've just noticed over the years as well, especially, referring specifically to the Koa series or the K series from Taylor guitars, seems like the darker topped guitars with a little bit of color to them, whether those are hardwood tops or sunbursts or whatever the case may be, the darker appearance on the face of the guitar tends to be a very popular look. Just aesthetically in the Taylor universe.
That is a dramatic Taylor for sure.
Sure is.
Dramatic looking, dramatic sounding.
I love the abundance of shimmer that guitar has. If you ever wanted to use the word shimmer to describe the brilliance in the presence and trebles of a guitar, that's a very airy,
right.
Really nice vibe in that guitar. A lot of shimmer.
And I had a question from Jason Caruso.
Yeah.
How would an all walnut compare with an all hog on a parlor size?
Yeah.
Snap judgment.
Sure. Yeah. The all mahogany should be a little bit warmer, cozier kind of a voice, where that walnut's going to have especially more of that upper mid-range kind of punch to it, almost like a Koa would be. That mahogany is going to be, think, warmer, cozier, where this is going to be the walnut would be, again, punchier, a little bit brighter perhaps. Again, we're hearing a lot of that shimmer sound out of that Taylor. I think that would carry over into a smaller body for sure as well. I do think the mahogany would have less of that shimmer overall. Good question.
And you don't happen to know what type of walnut was on that?
I believe it's Claro walnut. Yep,
cool.
Yep. I'm almost positive that's Claro walnut. Yep.
Excellent.
That is something, folks. This is the first, most certainly of its kind, that we have ever received from our friends at Atkin Guitars. This is an L36 Deluxe blacktop. Hunter, I'm gonna ask for your assistance.
Sure.
Remind me the top on this guitar. I know what the back and sides are. I don't want to.
This is the baked Sitka spruce
Baked
and
Sitka.
Pomelle Sapele.
Perfect. Thank you very much. I just wanted to make sure we weren't confusing this for an Adirondack top unnecessarily. If we could take a gander there. Thank you, Hondro. As Hondro has enlightened us, underneath this black painted top, we have a baked Sitka spruce top on this L36 Deluxe. This is their 14 fret L36, kind of a standard body depth, if you will, not anything too out of the norm in terms of the actual dimensions and ergonomics of this guitar, but you can see that beautiful jet black top for sure. And if I get it in some reflection here, you'll see that crazing or checking that you see in that lacquer finish that they have just done all over the body of this guitar, really in a very consistent, very old school looking way. They've done a nice job of giving the guitar a nice sort of patina, so to speak, but without making it look like it's been, drugged behind a car for the last week or so. So a really nice, just kind of in between, kind of aged feel. I do want to make special note that Alistair Atkin really goes out of his way to express that when he sprays these lacquer finishes on these guitars, they have a certain level of surface tension that solid layer of finish on top of that solid piece of wood naturally, mechanically creates. When he breaks that surface tension, it serves to relax the top in its responsiveness, in quite literally its tone. And he really feels strongly about this. And after playing quite a few of these myself, I will say I do as well. And I think that there's a relaxed feel and a relaxed sound to these guitars, partially due to at least that finish treatment that they do. So very cool. I've got to call your attention, if we can get a little bit of a close-up there, to the gold purfling and gold rosette on the face of this guitar. Really pops nicely out of that black finish, but without being gaudy or too loud. We also have some absolutely astoundingly awesome celluloid, almost like that Italian kind of acrylic look, but it's a celluloid binding that they use on this guitar, and almost just like a super swirly, almost psychedelic look to this binding. Really cool colors. You can see kind of how iridescent the material itself is, showing the purfling underneath, which is really very charming, I've got to say. Back and sides of this guitar I've been dying to get to. I've been jabbering about everything else but the back. This is a set of Pomelle Sapele on the back and sides. This is without question the first like it that we've ever had from Atkin Guitars. I've got to tell you, in the context of this guitar, with this top, this wood is ripping awesome. It is gorgeous to look at, needless to say. Almost has hints of the tree. I hesitate to say that real confidently, but almost hints of the tree kind of curl in that back set there. But an impressive color, an impressive figure to this back set for sure. Man, beautiful stuff. I love that super thin black back strip. And if you look at the heel cap, we've got that matching material there that he's done on the binding as well. I love how he's applied that binding to the fingerboard of this guitar as well, really completing the whole package. And all the way up on the headstock, we've got that black veneer, jet black veneer, with the inlaid double diamond in the center of the headstock, and then Atkin logo done in mother of pearl all the way up top there. And the Deluxe guitars do have that inlaid double diamond situation there, as well as the double diamond mother of pearl inlays on the face of that Rosewood fingerboard as well, which is a really nice touch from the little bit simpler dot inlays that would otherwise be on a non-Deluxe model. But this has, you know, between the binding, the black top, the amazing back set on the guitar, definitely has some cool custom features that the folks at Atkin can do. And as I said, this is just a really cool culmination of quite a few of those very hip specs that they're able to do there. Lot of soul in that one. What do you think of the binding on this one, Andrew?
I think it's slick.
I
and
love
I think, you don't notice it from afar
exactly
necessarily.
Well,
when you get up on it.
Honestly, same thing with the gold purfling. They've done such a good job of tucking that in until you kind of get up on it, and I love that when it slowly reveals itself as you get closer.
Yeah. It's a small sounding guitar in the best way possible.
You know, well said to whoever may have said that. Was that you?
I don't know. Yeah.
Sometimes like a little bit of boxiness just to get that is pretty cool.
And one thing that the guitar Mammoth pointed out was that the fingerboard stops before the rosette.
Yeah,
like a
right.
little gap. And it's got that like kind of triangular shape. at the bottom
Yep.
of it.
Yep.
It kind of mirrors the top of the headstock.
Exactly. Yep.
That's
Real complete
clever,
looking.
yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
Absolutely. Good eye. Yeah. We can say safely this is a guitar with a voice on the opposite end of the spectrum as the Atkin that we just played. Folks, we have reached a most beautiful, highly customized Huss and Dalton from our friends at, you guessed it, Huss and Dalton Guitars. This is a OM custom. Man, did we ever exercise their price list and options list for this guitar? Let's take a gander here. We've got a deeply figured curly redwood top on the face of this OM, and man, we've had just incredible success with tops like this from Huss and Dalton guitars. They just sound amazing, and you can just see the unbelievable, unmistakable presentation of drama that this guitar has in that highly quilted redwood top. Man, just a thing of beauty. I always want to go out of my way to say, anytime we're using a highly figured piece of wood like this, the folks at Huss and Dalton have done their due diligence and homework to make sure that this is a beautifully stable piece of wood for the long haul for whoever ends up with this guitar for a long time. Certainly worthy of being called an heirloom instrument, no question about it. But beautiful, beautiful redwood top on this guitar. This is technically a 42 style guitar in its ornamentation, in that it has that abalone shell border going around the top of the guitar, going around the fingerboard extension here, as well as around the sound hole on the rosette of the guitar. And they do a rather traditional sort of presentation on that 42 style inlay that they do on the top of that guitar, which I really like. Very classy, very timeless all the way through there. Really nice colors in that shell. Really nice. The binding on this guitar is done in a beautiful bloodwood, really just an incredible and dramatic color to that very strong reddish binding material that they've done on this guitar. And I thought that would be a downright perfect match for the incredible back set of African Blackwood. You're going to be able to see the entire studio here with this mirror of a back set here. We've got a super dark set of African Blackwood, aptly named, but quarter sawn, straight grain, beautiful freaking wood here. I love that abalone back strip that is just practically on fire bursting out of that African Blackwood set there. And again, just the luxuriousness of that nice bloodwood binding all the way around is really, really good in this context. Really nice. Take a look at the tail wedge here, also done in the matching bloodwood there. Beautiful miters all the way through though, just great attention to detail. all the way up on the headstock. We've got a jet black ebony veneer up there with the mother of pearl Huss and Dalton logo inlaid right into the top of the headstock there. We have extended that bloodwood binding all the way around the guitar onto the headstock as well as the fingerboard there. We can see the gold Waverly tuning machines with the black ebony buttons on there. Of course, Honduran mahogany neck as well, which is standard treatment on this guitar. On the face of the fingerboard, we're going to enjoy the 42 style long pattern snowflake inlays, perfectly tying in with the rest of the ornamentation on the guitar. We also have a beautiful African Blackwood fingerboard on this guitar as well. Nice kind of smoky look to that fingerboard. Really excellent, I will say. And under the hood, all guitars built by Huss and Dalton are braced with Adirondack spruce. This has also been constructed using all hot hide glue as well. So we'll really have the long-term maximum resonance, maximum potential for resonance having these materials, this particular glue material in it. Got a nice long ringing sustain to it, man. Very dramatic tone to go along with those dramatic wood sets on this guitar, and just overall aesthetic to this guitar. I'll tell you, that's quite a full package, I've got to say. Quite an instrument. Love African Blackwood and a good OM.
Yeah, that one's perfectly warm with the right amount of brilliance on top.
Yes. I think that would be like it just even sitting on top of it, playing it, it sounds like a surround sound, you know? It's
yeah.
Very
enveloping.
Very produced sounding in a good way. Polished sounding.
All right, Jeff, I hope you're still in the chat. Your guitar's up next.
Uh-oh. Mr. Jewitt. Yeah. Folks, we have arrived upon a beautiful little Jeff Jewitt 0014, and this guitar was very recently on display at the Artisan Guitar Show, and it received a lot of very positive feedback from the folks who attended the show, who were able to play and experience this guitar in person. And of course, with that feedback, I was very eager to get my hands on this guitar to hear what all this fuss was about, but man, I get it. This is a signature looking Jewitt guitar. I've got to tell you, he's really put, I think, his DNA in this guitar in a lot of ways, especially tonally and visually. This is signature Jeff, if you ask me. talk about a responsive guitar, this is the guitar we should talk about right here. Man, just instantaneous, effortless leaping of notes out of the sound hole of this guitar, which is pretty darn fun. Jandro, if we could indulge ourselves a little bit here, we will take a look at this. I just love the silhouette and kind of ergonomics of Jeff's double O here, from the upper bout, the waist, lower bout, kind of the whole package there is a really nice shape. This is, as I said, a 14 fret double O. This has one of Jeff's, again, very signature looking sunburst finishes on this top. This is a Italian spruce top of a very high grade. You can absolutely hear that, again, and how responsive and long ringing this guitar is. Beautiful Italian spruce top on this guitar. I want to show your attention to this mosaic or almost stained glass rosette that Jeff has achieved here in kind of a multicolor design here. I have to tell you, candidly, Jeff was kind enough to kind of send me some progress report photos of this rosette as it was being made. I think he even actually posted some of this on social media if you're curious to see his process on this. But man, I am just stunned by how this rosette turned out in the context of this guitar, the sunburst, the whole thing. It is just stunningly perfect. Honestly, I would be afraid to order something by how I would describe this, but seeing it in person, it's like, yeah, that's the one I want, which is pretty cool. So nice rosette, Jeff. Well done. I also love the very subtle forearm bevel that he's done on this guitar. It's not a huge guitar to begin with, but with that really subtle rounded upper edge here on your lower bout there, again, we're talking just pure comfort out of this guitar. Back and sides are a beautiful and practically perfect set of straight grain East Indian rosewood. I mean, lots of very, very tight grain and just incredibly straight grain. And of course, dead quarter sawn on this set of wood. Absolutely dead quarter sawn. Beautiful set of older. This is not your ultra new, brand spanking new off the tree plantation East Indian rosewood. This is definitely some older growth, high grade wood that Jeff gets a hold of here. Gorgeous stuff though. Also want to call your attention to the tail wedge on this guitar, which he has beautifully matched to the rosette there. Really, really cool stuff. And again, just beautiful miters with all the fiber purfling work there and everything. Really nice. All the way up on the headstock, we'll see a beautiful East Indian rosewood veneer, totally perfectly matching that backset. I love that little Cocobolo magnetic truss rod cover there as well. I was going to call it a heel cap. It is not a heel cap. We also have a beautiful rosewood backstrap on the back of the headstock there. Those are the Cosmo 510 Godot tuning machines there. I love this little window that he has installed in the back of his headstock, giving you just a peek into some more of that material that he's used for his end graft down there on the bottom of the tail wedge of the guitar. Really a cool little touch. Nice little subtle touch on the back of the headstock there. Very artfully done, I've got to say. This has the standard kind of short scale that Jeff would typically put on his 14 fret double O guitar, which comes in at 24.9 from the nut to the saddle here. We've got his standard 1 3/4 inch nut width with a 2 1/4 spacing down here at the bridge. And this has Jeff's modern fingerstyle neck on it, which is an absolute freaking delight to play. It's not the world's slimmest neck out there, but it's a nice, relatively slim, kind of a medium C profile. Just a touch of a flatness on the back of the neck, which really gives you a nice kind of anchor point to get some of those insane chords, especially up high there, and really get yourself planted there on those chords. The fingerboard and bridge of this guitar, I should mention, are Madagascar rosewood as well, just tying in with the rest of the kind of rosewood elements of this guitar. I love that he's done no inlays on the face of the fingerboard at all, but we've got the Evo gold frets there. again, just class all the way around on this guitar. He's done a combination of white glue on the inside of this guitar, but all of the top braces have been done with animal protein or hide glue on this guitar. So again, just responsive as can be, really has great depth and great sustain as well. Indeed. That's a hot double O there.
Man, give me that guitar. That is awesome.
It's been so cool. You know, we've been dealing with Jeff for a few years now, and it's been highly rewarding. I've got to say, just personally, I don't know why. I don't have anything to do with it, but it's been highly rewarding to see Jeff's evolution and Jeff's guitars evolution since we've kind of started dealing with them. They were excellent. You know, when we've got our first one from him, no question, but he's really, I think, found his identity and his sort of aesthetic and branding, so to speak, in his guitars, and I really dig what he's doing.
Yeah, that rosette is hard to take my eyes off.
Dude, it looks, especially that bottom portion there, it looks like there's something behind it, lighting it, like backlighting it.
Right.
You know, it's very, again, just the entirety of this is spot on. Got some heartbreakers today, man. Seriously. Folks, we have just yesterday, in fact, received this guitar from our friends at Froggy Bottom Guitars, and we always treasure when a new Froggy Bottom arrives at our shop, because we never know how many more new Froggy Bottoms will arrive at our shop. But we're always paying close attention to that. You better believe. But this Model M leaves nothing to be desired at all, as far as I'm concerned. Hondro, let's take a gander here, please. This is a Model M Limited, the highest grade of what is offered at Froggy Bottom Guitars in terms of material selection and in terms of ornamentation, or what you can potentially get into in terms of ornamentation. You'll be starting with a limited grade guitar if you're looking for the utmost top of the heap from Michael Millard and his team there. The top that we have started with and selected for this guitar is one of Michael's famous 1876 vintage German spruce tops. Old growth, highly seasoned, incredible, frankly one-of-a-kind German spruce in terms of the particular selection that he has there. Being a limited grade guitar from Froggy Bottom, we've got a little bit of extra ornamentation around the top of the guitar done in abalone, Really beautiful, intricate, just highly figured looking abalone shell all the way around that top. We also have that matching abalone shell around the sound hole on the rosette of the guitar. I love that. Pretty small imitation tortoiseshell pickguard that Froggy Bottom uses on their Model M guitar. Really a nice look there. We have bound the body of this guitar in a very curly koa binding. You tend to see Froggy Bottoms a little more often bound in curly maple, which is that nice blonde frame around the guitar, which I love. I love that aesthetic, but something about a dark backed guitar, rich rosewood guitar, if you will, that just screams the need for koa sometimes. And so we chose this beautiful golden koa for this guitar. Back and sides are an incredible set of Michael's personal stash of 5A Madagascar rosewood. I will never, ever, ever tire of saying this is one of my favorite tone woods I've ever played. In the existence of all the tone woods that I've played, this one is very near the top of the heap. And it consistently has been that way with every guitar that Michael has sent us with this rosewood. Just incredible. Truly once in a lifetime rosewood, just no other way about it. We've got that matching abalone back strip going down the center of the back, and I love that koa heel cap matching the binding on there as well. Of course, we've got the quarter sawn Honduran mahogany neck on this guitar as well. We've got a 5A Madagascar rosewood veneer on the face of the headstock, just perfectly tying in with that back set. And we've got the usual suspect up top there in the form of an abalone frog, letting you know that it's a Michael Millard creation. Indeed. And we've got the standard nickel Waverly tuning machines on there, perfectly tying in with the rest of the details on the guitar. And on the fingerboard of the guitar, we've got the full-length scalloped diamond fingerboard inlay all the way up that ebony fingerboard, which is really nice. Standard 1 3/4 inch nut width. We did, as we normally do, increase the spacing, which standard comes in at 2 3/16 at the bridge. We up that to 2 5/16 at the bridge, specifically for our fingerstyle friends out there that want to have a little bit of extra width in there, a little bit extra real estate to comfortably rest their picking hand there. Really a nice feature that they're able to do. And then we have the standard 25.1 inch scale length on the Model M as well. And I'll tell you, between the wood selection and the voicing that they achieve at Froggy Bottom on these, it is, again, we were talking about soulful sounding guitars earlier. This is a soulful sounding guitar for sure. Well, Andrew, you won't look if I go take this out to my car, will you?
If you can fit that in your pants, I will not tell. Yeah, I've never met a Froggy Bottom that disappointed
Dude.
in any regard.
Same, seriously.
And I might need some bigger pants.
Oh, baby. I've been waiting for this one.
I know you have.
Folks, I've got to tell you a short story, and I'm not a very good storyteller, so bear with me. I got a call several months ago now from your friend and mine, Mr. Kevin Ryan, and Kevin was kind enough to say, you might be getting a call or an email from my good buddy, Laurie Williams. And I have to share my complete embarrassment that I was not more familiar at that time with who Laurie Williams was, embarrassingly. Since then, Kevin has graciously sent Laurie our way, and we have been lucky enough to get a few of his guitars now under our roof. This is the first that we've been able to show at this point, and I am excited to share this guitar. This is a very special guitar for Williams guitars, for sure, being the 30th commemorative guitar celebrating Laurie Williams' 30 years in the world of acoustic guitar lutherie. Laurie is known for his reclamation efforts in New Zealand, where he is from, and he, if you're familiar with New Zealand native woods, of course, you know, the red light goes off right away. Kauri, you know, which the guitar community knows about. There are a number of other New Zealand native woods that perhaps a lot of the guitar community isn't as familiar with, and I am eager to dig into his stash, his knowledge of these woods, as well as just his obvious skill in lutherie and building instruments. So a multifaceted guy for sure, from the wood reclamation, being an amazing builder as well, amongst other things, I'm sure. But really an incredible guitar. What we're dealing with here, if we could take a look at this, Hondro, this is, as I said, the 30th commemorative Tui cutaway. And boy, oh boy, we've got some details to dig into on this guitar. The top on this guitar, as I said, is a piece of wood that Laurie actually salvaged himself. This is what he refers to as Old Man River Kauri. So truly submersion wood. And as Laurie has graciously explained to me, the tree itself was up to 2,000 years old before it landed in any kind of, you know, body of water or river. So it was a very, very old tree before, you know, becoming a river tree or a sinker, you know, specimen, so to speak. And it's hard to know exactly from that point how long this wood was actually submerged, you know, beyond that point. Of the tree actually being alive. So we know it's really, really old, and we can safely say it's really, really old. No question about it. But you can just see the incredible character and figure in this particular selection that he's chosen. Of course, you better believe, being his 30th commemorative guitar, this is no average selection. This is a top of the heap. I've got to tell you, I absolutely adore the aesthetic details on this guitar, starting from the small stuff, which I want to show you up close, is a very, very thin band of abalone shell going around the entire top there. We talk about abalone borders out there, which I love, but this is like very, very thin, very sophisticated looking, just classy, very classy looking. Very nice, effortless for sure. The rosette on this guitar, rosette on the guitar is a piece of burled river rimu, and I hope I'm pronouncing that rimu correctly. But you can see just a lovely iridescent figured rosette there. We're going to get to the inlay stuff, I promise. We'll get there. But I want to keep showing you this ebony bridge on this guitar. Back and sides, brace yourself, folks, is a absolutely frightening set of ancient Kauri. I've never seen a set that looks like this, admittedly, just with this unfreaking believable figure all throughout, unbelievable depth, and just that gorgeous golden color, just like a handful of ribbons, you know, falling off the table kind of thing. Just tons of, again, iridescence, that chatoyance in between the grain of that wood. Really cool. I guess it's time to talk about these inlays, folks. Get a close-up here for you if we could. And Hondro, pull up the listing on that, if you would. This is a particular flower vine that I am failing to remember the name of. I'm not a botanist by trade, unfortunately, so I'm just...
Is it the Kauri burl clematis vine rosette?
Clematis. Thank you very much.
Commemorative clematis vine with Tui bird fingerboard inlay.
You got it. Thank you. So this is the clematis vine. Folks, I'm going to give you a close-up real quick here. Bear with me just a second.
Some really small detail on there. It's really cool.
It's insane.
Just keeps going.
I mean, it looks real. Like, it seriously looks real.
Yeah, and I like how the flowers on the rosette break the frame of the rosette.
Yeah, very tasteful, very artful. What Hondro was referring to a moment ago was the Tui bird that is actually on the fingerboard amongst the clematis vine there. Get up close there if we can.
Very delicate work.
Outrageous. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, we also, it keeps going, we also have a solid ancient Kauri neck. I didn't think I would ever see this in my lifetime, yet here we are, I'm holding it. Solid ancient Kauri neck on this guitar, including a beautiful veneer on the face of the headstock. We've got a continuation of that beautiful, very thin shell purfling around the face of the headstock, as well as on the face of the fingerboard. And again, that clematis vine going all the way down the fingerboard. As Hondro pointed out to us, it literally interrupts that the actual lines and purfling of that rosette, like it's kind of falling off the fingerboard onto the body of the guitar. So good, so good. Very, very cool stuff. But I got to tell you, I've been having an absolute ball getting to know just the few guitars that we have from Williams right now in our shop. I got to tell you, this one is the scary one. I've got to tell you, rightly so. Folks, you'll have to take my word for it. This is one of those guitars that the entire body feels like a pump. And it is as though you can feel it, almost like sticking your hand on a subwoofer. You can feel the bass actually pushing air. That is exactly what this whole body is doing. It's just radiating that force out of it. Wow. Andro?
Matt?
Tell me everything.
I'll take it.
Boy, oh boy.
Yeah, that's a showstopper.
Folks, as easy as that, we have arrived at the end. And boy, this was a fun one. Andro, I gotta know, as we always do, we need to know from the folks in the chat what was speaking to them, if anything, off the wall this week. But first, what was speaking to you, Andro?
I thought I was gonna leave it at the Jewitt, and then you whipped this thing out, and now I can't decide. But I'm gonna have to go with the Williams, the showstopper, baby. That's
I wouldn't be mad at you.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be mad, man.
With the Jewitt is my very close second. What about you?
I think I might be right there with you.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think maybe we should include some criteria for this. I don't know what the criteria would be, but maybe we could do that for future episodes. Like, what would be the best one for eating tacos?
Okay, a little obtuse, but yeah.
What would be the best one to get if you were going to go knife shopping?
Definitely the Atkin.
There you go. Folks,
let's see,
yeah.
we got Dave on the Williams.
Uh-oh.
We got Tomas on the Froggy. Oh, and that reminded me, someone asked a question if that had the skeletonized bracing inside of it?
In this one?
Yeah.
Boy, maybe. I don't know. I didn't get inside. Yeah, it sure does. Yes.
I could tell just by listening, you know.
No, I mean, you can see it right here.
That's cool.
Can you see it from right there is the question. Let's find out. I'll let Hondro break stuff instead of me.
Oh, that's going to be tough.
We got to get the light at the right angle, but we can do it. Maybe not. There you go. There it is. You can barely see it in there. Yes, it most certainly does. And folks, if I was not explicit enough the first time around, the Williams guitars are new for us here under our roof. And as I think I said, we are thrilled to have them under our roof here and get our relationship going with Laurie and his crew there. But if this is what he's been up to for the last few decades, we've been missing out big time. So again, embarrassed that we have not had his guitars in here sooner than we've had, admittedly.
You got one for the Froggy, another for the Froggy, Froggy and the Jewitt, all except for the Laurie Williams. I love the Huss and Dalton. Unfair to live in a world where you have a chance to play so many guitars and not have them all at home.
I wouldn't want to have to pay for that insurance policy,
Yeah.
but I would. Folks, thank you so much once again for joining us on your Friday afternoon. If you aren't catching this live, but after the fact, thank you for tuning into this as well and spending your time with us. We sure love playing through the wonderful array of guitars that we are spoiled to have in this shop. So we appreciate you joining us for this and allowing us to share these guitars with you. Again, if anything has spoken to you off the wall that you think, boy, I might need that in my studio or even just in my living room on the couch to play with next week, let us know. That's why we're here. Shoot us an email, give us a call. Do not be shy. Again, that's why we're here, is to find these wonderful guitars home. So reach out to us when you can. That all you got there, Hondero?
That's all I got, yeah.
Folks, we'll see you next week. Have a fabulous weekend. We'll catch you next time around.
See you guys.